What's up YouTube, this is your friendly neighborhood movie nerd back to give you guys everything that is going on in the world of movies and TV, and today we are doing a review for a movie that, while it is the third installment in a franchise, it is easily one of the best, not just prequel franchises, but franchises we have gotten in the past decade alone. That is the Planet of the Apes prequel trilogy. Never in a million years back then, if I was that age, would I have thought that this was going to work, but it has, and it's given us one of the best movie trilogies we've gotten in a very long time. So without further ado, this is my review for the third and hopefully final installment, War for the Planet of the Apes.
But I will finish it.
So after the events of the last installment, Caesar and his apes are now embroiled in a full-on, all-out war against mankind, and they are suffering heavy casualties. So finally deciding that he needs to end this once and for all so that he can protect his kind, Caesar goes on a one-man quest for revenge with his loyal compatriots Maurice, Rocket, and Luca in order to finish off the humans who are led by the ruthless Colonel, played by Woody Harrelson, who is determined to exterminate every last ape he finds. But along the way, Caesar soon finds himself once again on a path of self-discovery after encountering new installments, Nova, the human, and Bad Ape, and soon discovers that not everything is as black and white as he originally thought. So this movie was pretty friggin' fantastic. I really enjoyed it, and out of the entire trilogy, I would definitely say that this is my least favorite installment, but that is by no means a criticism of this movie, because this movie was still so fantastic. I understand the restrictions on motion capture performances, considering the fact that only one half of it is actually the actor's performance and the rest of it is the studio and tech, but you have to admit that Andy Serkis gives this role completely his all, as the story of Caesar is one of the most fully fleshed out and well-written character arcs that I've seen on the big screen in a very long time, and this is for a CG character too. Because what makes these movies great is not the fact that they tie into any pre-existing IP already, it's the fact that they're able to stand on their own with identities of their own. That's what makes these movies great. It's what makes prequels and sequels in general great, is that they don't have to rely on pre-existing IPs to be both good and really stand out and be memorable on their own as their own thing. And that's something I can really say about all three of these movies, is that unlike a lot of other trilogies and just movie series in general, each one of these movies, Rise, Dawn, and now War of the Planet of the Apes, stands out on their own as being their own unique films, as well as being a part of this Planet of the Apes prequel trilogy. But besides Andy Serkis, I have to give credit to all of the other actors in this movie, both motion capture and regular human actors, because the motion capture people, besides Andy Serkis, are people who I feel like have not been getting the credit that they deserve, because Karen Knovel and Terry Notary, who have been there since the first movie, both do spectacular jobs continuing as Maurice and Rocket. Funny story, Terry Notary, the guy who does Rocket, also did the motion capture for Kong in Kong Skull Island this year. They're all great, but in terms of new additions to this movie, Steve friggin' Zahn as Bad Ape gives so much heart and levity, and such a much needed levity to this movie that you wouldn't think it needed until he gives his bits of comedy, because unlike most other bits of comedy in these blockbusters, this comedy feels very natural, very in place, and never distracting. Surprisingly enough though, Woody Harrelson, the main bad guy of this movie, has less screen time than I thought he would in the trailer, but that doesn't stop him from being any less of a psychopath, because unlike the last two installments, there are no good humans this time. Woody Harrelson is a complete psycho, and he wants one thing: to exterminate the apes in order to keep mankind going. But when Caesar finally does meet the Colonel, we learn something about the Colonel as a character that both completely changes him and adds a new layer to him, despite him still being a psychopath, as well as introduce a new factor at something that we'd all but pretty much forgotten about that was introduced with the first Apes movie, and that is the simian flu, which started this whole thing, the thing that started as James Franco's experimental cure for Alzheimer's, and it ended up becoming the simian flu, but it reaches a new stage in this movie, after killing off all the humans, that we didn't think, and it actually helps to build into the original Heston movies even more. But besides being just great movies, what really elevates these movies above being just simple mindless blockbusters is the fact of they really are allegories for mankind's constant need to control nature, and how that really will backfire in our face almost every time, but it does it in such a subtle way. It's not like the way that Jurassic Park did it, which I love Jurassic Park, but there were a lot of parts of that movie that felt very on the nose and just straight up explaining to you, versus this movie is a lot more subtle about it, just presenting mankind's constant struggle to survive and compete with each other ends up breeding this new species that ends up over-dominating it, following the laws of nature, which are expressly told a lot in this movie. Also, I gotta give props to Matt Reeves, because unlike what most people don't realize, is that Matt Reeves with this series actually actually pulled what Paul Greengrass did with the original Jason Bourne trilogy, where he comes in after Rupert Wyatt already directed the first movie and directs these last two, and has arguably stepped the series up to a whole new level to where it has come now. So I really have to give him props for that. I am giving this movie 9 out of 10 stars. Definitely recommend it to anybody who likes seeing monkeys blow shit up. Any fans of the original series or just any fan of apes in general will like this movie. So what did you guys think of this review? Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Make sure you click the like button and the subscribe button. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at Movie Nerd Review, and also head on over to the website movienerdreviews.com. That is it. I will see you guys next time.
Go!